Cześć, witam, hello, and welcome back to another STEM Racing Poland webinar. Today I'm joined again with a familiar face now, Alexander from STEM Racing Germany. If you want to introduce yourself again.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. A familiar face, like you said. So I'm Alexander. I'm the official in-country coordinator for STEM Racing Germany, and currently I'm a two-time world champion ICC. I have to say I'm not world champion myself, but in 2023 and 2024, each of one of my teams has won the world champions trophy, and yeah,
not a bad record to have going for you. So from today's webinar title, people, it's not quite a deep dive into a specific part into the regulations. It's not quite, teaching a new skill. It's a bit of a more open discussion, a bit of a more broad topic about what does actually make world champion teams better than other teams. Because obviously we've done a lot of breakdowns of specific topics. And if you were just the best in all of those topics, sure, you can get close to being world champion, but there's definitely other behind the scenes kind of mindset, how you approach this sort of stuff, how you just have to view the competition. And if you look at the world champions year after year, it's from countries which have figured out the system kind of. So it's going to be interesting to hear from, the person who's led the country to 2 world championships in the past 2 years to kind of see what you think makes a world champion caliber team.
Yeah. So I guess when we are starting you said it. If you want to be the world champion, you need to be more or less the best in every category of the judging. That is obviously because it's a competition, but I think what I experience is that you need more than just the points on the scorecard to get world champion, and I guess that's very important too. So I guess it's the two-sided medal. So you have the normal scoring and you need to be the best there. But I guess especially at the world finals, it's very important to have, like you said, a mindset that brings you in to be a world champion. And it's not like the mindset, I need to win here because I only want to win and that's all. It's more like, I have seen it in 2023 with Recoil Racing. They had fun at the competition. They enjoyed to meet all the other teams and to talk and to chat, but also are very concentrated on what they did. And yeah, it's like the mixture of both.
Makes sense too. If you're gonna try win something, you probably need to enjoy it, be passionate about it, the more passionate and you are about a topic, the more involved you usually are, the more willing you are to go the extra step and go up and beyond in your research and preparation and everything in a competition.
Yeah. And I mean, like Recoil did it. They were very open to everyone and had not this mindset, particularly nations get stamped on like, yeah, they are always there to win. I mean, there are several nations that have already won the world champion trophy. Germany has it 3 times. The US had it 3 times. The UK, I guess 5 times. Australia 7 times. So there are not really many of the nations from our worldwide competition who has won this trophy with one of their teams. But I guess when you are nice and just happy and glad to be there and you know that you are the best from the country, it's always a good mindset. But I think it's not helpful to get in with the mindset that the only thing you want to achieve at this world championship is the win, because obviously every team is at the world championship to be the world champion. So that is something I guess sometimes brings a team into a mood that you as an outstanding person recognize when they go by you and don't say hello or asking you how are you or just get in chat with you, just go straight by you, and then they are so focused because they want to win it, and then that's not sympathetic. So I guess that's something when you want to be the world champion, I would recommend that you don't are too focused on the actual winning, more on the event and having fun and bring the best out of you and out of the team. Because in the overall, it's not on you who will win, it's on the judges, but you can give your best. And that's something I give every year to my teams, that they need to be happy with their own preparation and their own things what they have brought in. But if it's not enough to winning the world champion title, that's not the baddest thing in the world. The important thing is that they are happy with their things they brought up.
Makes sense, yeah. So specifically in the past 2 years, Recall Racing won in 2023, Evolution won in 2024, and then Array, another German team, got second place last year. So you've got 3 podium teams, 2 of them winning the whole event in the past 2 years. And how do you think, why do you think that's happened? The last win before that for Germany was in 2015. So it's been a solid few years. Obviously, competition is tough. There's a lot of Australia, UK, lots of good teams and countries out there which are always competing and trying their best. But what do you think was different the past 2 years?
I guess what is different in the two, or in general, what is different in Germany than in some other countries, what I've heard and myself experienced as a judge, is that all the students in Germany just learn it by themselves. So we don't have so we have some teachers, they know CAM, CAD, CFD and all this kind, but not many are just that deep in it. So most of the time the students just study and learn it by themselves. And I guess that is one of the keys to get successful, to deeply understand what you have done there. Because when you just have a mentor and they say, yeah, you put this button and you push that button and you put the wind speed at this and this, then you just do it, but you don't really understand what you are doing. And I guess it's just something that was a little bit lucky too in the past 2 years. Because I mean, I took over the competition as the ICC in the summer of 2023, and we won the first title under my leading in 2023. In September, I took over in July. So it was also a big part of the work from the guys that does it before me. But you mentioned the title in 2015. Union Racing, it was a collaboration team between Germany and the US. And this was, as far as I know, the only collaboration team ever that has won the World Champions trophy. So that's another something special for the first World Champions title we have won. So, and I guess it was just the energy of the team in 2023 of Recall Racing that just got in it and have worked on it with a bigger team that were in Singapore. So they had like small work groups and all of these things. And in 2024, I guess it was also part of Recall Racing, because what I've heard from the teams is not that they are saying, okay, you have to do it like this, and this, and then you have like an exact copy of Recall Racing or Recall Racing 2.0 or something like that. I guess what Recall has done phenomenal for the 2024 teams is that they let them do their work and just coach them on their own line. So they never try to change the team or something like that, what I've heard. It's more like that they mentor them just by giving them advices how they could improve on their own line that the team is running. And I guess that is very special. And for Evolution, it's something special because the team itself and the, let's say, corporate identity of it is 9 years old. So there were 9 teams of Evolution until the team got to the World Finals and then won it on the first try. But the team of Evolution has done something very special. first ever team members built the team, and then when they saw that some of them were too old to compete, they get some new members in, learned them and showed them what they have done and what they can do, and then the old ones got out and the younger ones took over. So it was like a process of every time getting younger people in, show them what to do and let them do their own thing. But the whole thing of evolution, the corporate identity, was at the point of winning, I guess, 8 or 9 years old. So it was quite a long time where this could be a good team. And then in 2024, the 4 boys from Evolution got the trophy, what was for me also very surprisingly, because I know that it's very difficult for a team to get the world champion trophy, but to get it as a country 2 times in a row, it's very difficult, because every nation, especially the nations like Saudi Arabia, Australia, UK, US, Greece, they are always bringing in very good teams, and all other nations too. But you need to compete every year against every team what is there, and I guess that's something very difficult and very challenging. But they have done it, and yeah, so it was kind of crazy also for me, because when they announced the 3rd place and the 2nd place, and the 2nd place in Saudi Arabia was a German team, I was quite happy, because that is all also this year my goal, to get a team on the podium. Best thing would be to get a 3P and get the next team on the podium to be the last country, or to be the last world champion as F1 in schools, and to be the first world champion as STEM racing. But we will see. But after that, I just thought to myself, and with my race director Vincent, who is also one of the race directors at the World Finals, we stand by each other and said, yeah, okay, the next team announced is the world champion, and it will be very surely some English-speaking teams, so US, UK, or Australia. And then it was announced that it's Germany, and there was no holding back for me and him. And it's quite funny, because when you watch the after movie of Evolution or of the headquarter, when I'm concentrating on it, and Vincent and some others who I showed it to, you can hear me scream in the background because I'm so happy for them that we have won again. So it was quite funny. But yeah, I guess it's just the time that brings sometimes a good team, and maybe 2 or 3 to get a series of wins. But I guess it's to conclude all this. I guess it's to say that in Germany, the teams most of the time learns it all by themselves, and there's no mentor or teacher or something. It's just, and when they are mentors, it's more like they're helping them to get to be on their own line and try to then put their knowledge in it, but never change the team as it is, because especially in nations where you have regional finals and then national finals, they just competed in 2 stages and have their own working skills and working methods. So it's kind of important, I think, not to change the team, just to help them to get the better version of themselves.
Yeah, so I was going to actually ask, but obviously being the ICC in Germany, you probably saw these teams at the regional and national level before World Championships. So from you, do you think, because you've not been ICC for all of this time, but you've been involved in the competition in various forms, so you've been around a long time to be at World Finals and, participate in the competition. So do you think you can spot teams with like enormous world class potential at the regional and national levels, or is it you see the teams qualify, do well, and then it's a big step up from winning nationals to, okay, we need to really try now to winning worlds?
I guess at the original stage, it's quite difficult to see, because at every original stage, what is completely normal for every country around the world, you have the teams in the middle, you have teams in the lower end of the classement, and then you have the top teams that go to the nationals. It's completely normal, but at the regionals, you see really fast who will go to the nationals, because how they look, how it feels to look at the pit display, how the car looks, and all the things. And then at the nationals is quite just interesting. So at the 2023 nationals, I was there, but just in the background, not as a judge and everything. I was just there because it was the time where we handed over the competition, and it wasn't that official to hand over and so on, but I was there as a visitor. And to be honest, I hadn't Recoil and Firestorm, the second team from the 2023 national finals that went to the world finals. I have seen them and I recognized them as a good team, but it wasn't that outstanding. I will say, okay, these two teams will go to the Worlds and then Recoil will win it. But after I took over, I looked into all the data from the nationals and regionals this year, and it showed that Recoil dominated the regionals and national finals by far from the point, from the view of the points. But only because you dominate at the nationals, it don't mean that you will dominate the Worlds, because in Germany we have our rules are quite different than the world class regulations, because we bring it down to the level for the students that they can compete, and we have some variations in the rules. So they always need to do a complete new car. So it's not like, we have our national finals car and then we put some other wings on it and then it's a world class or world finals car. So every time they need to construct a complete new car, especially adjusting from 3D printing to milling, because in Germany it's also allowed to 3D print a chassis. So that is a big change, but they've done really well. And for Evolution, I have seen them the whole season, obviously, and from the regionals and nationals, and it was the same thing. They dominated everything from the regionals and the nationals. So I guess it's not like I have seen them in the regionals and nationals, because dominating the nationals, especially when you are longer competing team that knows how nationals work and so on, I guess that is not the crazy difficult thing to do, but to dominate and compete at a world final stage and get, let's say, I guess Evolution had somewhere around 750 points or something, or don't know exactly, but wide above 700 points. It's just another level of how you evolve as a team and how you evolve your work. So it's kind of, I guess the key for the team is the time between the nationals and world finals, where they do all the work and where it's, I guess, winning the championship or not, if you can put your work flow like on the world final stage. So put a lot more effort in it, a lot more time, and you need to really want it. And not only you, it's the whole team needs to want this journey and to be the best at the world finals, because when only one is there that is not that deep into it, it could crash the whole points for the team. So
I just double checked. So last year, Evolution got 867 points. Array got 811. So even between them two is quite a big step up. And then Luna from Australia got 808. And then fourth place got less than 800. So
so
Evolution, even at the world finals, were quite a step ahead of even the other German team.
Yeah, especially because Evolution got, I guess, in the semi-finals for the knockout competition, and the knockout competition gets them points and so on. But even when you deduct the points that they got from the knockout race, they are all already the world champions.
Wow.
And that is something what I experienced in the last 2 years. The same thing with Recoil. They got, I guess, in the quarterfinals or the stage before, and then were kicked out. But so they are not got many points, but they were so good that they don't needed the points from the knockout competition. And that's something what I say also this year to my teams, that they need to produce a car that is quick and don't have any penalties, because when you have a penalty, especially at the World Finals, it could be really fast, especially when it's a performance penalty that you got out of the knockout competition. And when you want to compete for the podium, especially for the World Champions Trophy, I guess it's very important to be in the knockout finals just to get these extra points, because at the top of the classement, every point could count, and you don't know it before. So it's not like, you don't need the points and then you just chill. It's more like you want to get the points to be sure to get ahead of all the other teams. So I guess also the knockout competition is something that some teams are underestimating, but I think it's one of the important things, because that is something where you can get some points to climb up in the rank.
I think you mentioned during that conversation something quite important, which is make sure your car is legal and you're not getting penalties at the World Finals. Because, for example, last year there were 40-something teams that attended, right?
Yeah.
And only 16 of them didn't have a penalty. So those 16, even though they weren't as fast as, some of them were not as fast as other cars, those 16, because they were legal and didn't get any penalties, ended up making it to the final bracket in racing. And that's where a huge point bonus suddenly appears. So I think it's a very important part that, obviously you want your fast to be car and legal, and you want every aspect of your portfolios and everything to be perfect, obviously. But I think with the car specifically, making sure you don't receive any penalties is massively important.
Yeah,
Because,
and it's not that important to have the fastest car in the competition, especially at the Worlds. There's the average time that counts for the fastest car, and not the fastest time you get on the track. But when you do a good car and it's like in the upper half of the ranking for the driving times, what you can see at the Worlds, and you don't have a penalty, you are good to go for the knockout competition. Because I don't want to bash any team or something, but as you mentioned, in Saudi Arabia there were 16 teams without a penalty, so they moved on. And I guess one of the teams were some place, I guess 42 or something, and moved on in the knockout competition. What was great for the team, but what I think you have seen in the faces that they know they can't compete against other teams like Lunar, Evolution, or some other of the teams they were in the knockouts, especially the Portuguese and the Australian team Lunar, because they ended up in the final. And I guess it was a great experience for the teams with no penalty to get into the knockout races. But I guess it was like, okay, when you are competing against Luna or the Portuguese or something, you will probably go out of the knockout competition. But I mean, you were in, you get some bonus points for it, just a good result. But yeah, that's very important to get no penalty, and especially the new system with the live scrutineering at the World Finals is a great way to show the teams exactly on the car live where the failure or the penalty is that they get. Because in 2023 it was my first World Finals, and then there were some difficulties, and some teams don't know why they get a penalty, and then they don't get the penalty, and it was a massive chaos sometimes. And I guess with the live scrutineering that they are now doing also at the 2025 World Finals, they reduced the amount of work to put in to go to every team and give them feedback. How is the car doing and why is there a penalty or something like this? They massively reduced this kind of work because every team or two of the team members see while measuring why there is a penalty or why this isn't working. And so they understand by seeing and talking to the judge why this isn't quite like the rules give it to them. And I guess it's a huge advantage also for the guys from the headquarters to do it like this way, even if it takes a little bit more time for every team to get to these 5 or 6 stages and then measuring and so on. And also for the judges, it's quite a long day. Vince does it last year, 2.5 days from the morning till the evening, and every 20 or every 10 minutes there was a new team and going on and so on. But I guess it's the right way, and yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think the live scrutiny is very useful for these teams. Yeah. Thankfully, our Polish finals were going to be having it this year. In the past, we had it submit the card beforehand, just like every other country, just like how World Finals was. But yeah, it's very handy for these teams to get feedback immediately, and also there's less complaints afterwards because they know they're not getting mystery point deductions. They physically looked with the judge at the car and saw with the judge kind of what went wrong.
Yeah, but to say for this car theme, also Array got a penalty, but also Evolution didn't get full points on their car. So it's not that big thing when you got deducted some points. It's important that you don't break any penalty rules or performance rules.
There's 2 tiers, right? But you can get points deducted and then you can get performance deductions.
Yeah, and the performance deduction is the heavier one. So if you don't get all points at the car while scrutineering, it's not that big thing. But if you get a performance penalty, that is a bigger thing.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, as every person who has come up here and onto these webinars, make sure your car's legal. Make sure you read regulations. Make sure you've read the competition ones and the technical ones, and everything is up to code. Make sure you're passionate about it. Don't enter these competitions if you're, you just want it to slap it on the CV. Obviously, it's nice to have it there, but if you're aiming for the world championship and for the title, you need to be genuinely passionate about this competition and this whole topic.
Yeah, and I mean, today or yesterday, Lawrence Vines, that some of you might know from the World Finals, announced that after he finishes his master's degrees, will join again Williams Racing as a engineer. And he wasn't a world champion. He was, I guess, at 3rd place. Sorry, Lawrence, that I didn't know it exactly. But he did that what Andrew and Amy and all the guys from headquarters tell everyone every year at the World Finals. When you want to be in the world of Formula One, you don't need to be the world champion of STEM racing or Formula One or however it calls. You need to be passionate about it. And I know Lawrence personally. I met him in Saudi Arabia at the Worlds. I was a judge in 2024 with him. Met him at the UK finals this year, and he's such a nice guy. Like Amy is also a great example for alumni work. That when you are good in that what you do, you can be in Formula One, especially because you were a part of STEM racing or former Formula One in schools. That is something, when you are good and passionate about it, you can reach the goal to be in F1.
I just double checked real quick. He got Centurion Racing, which was the team he was a part of, got 3rd place in 2019. So yeah, even though didn't quite win, was just incredibly passionate, and the passion alone probably got him to world finals and then got him, his Williams job, which is, if you're aiming for world championship at F1 in schools or STEM racing, you're probably also interested in the other opportunities the title grants you, such as exposure internships, the Williams Academy, stuff like that. But yeah, I think this has been a pretty decent overview. What would you say, with world finals approaching in literally a couple of weeks' time, and for from us personally on this channel, Polish championships, national championships are just a week or two after the world championships. What singular piece of advice? Because I've asked all the people who have come on for advice, but that has been topic specific. So we've had a branding piece of advice, we've had a car design piece of advice, but on the whole, as somebody who's kind of assisted some teams and on the outside looking in, what is your single biggest piece of advice? What do you think you've noticed in all of the World Championships teams which has made them a step above the rest?
I guess my advice is like a two-kinded advice. The first one, every team member, I know it 100%, hears it every time from every teacher, look at the scorecards. That is very important to, get good, and because everything the judge is looking for is there. It stands there. It's like in our last webinar, we also looked at the scorecards. So look at the scorecards. That is more like the boring part and the easy part and of my advice, and the harder part of my advice is be passionate about it, because you can say, I have a passion for STEM racing, but if you don't feel the passion and you don't want to invest every second you got, and you're waiting for the sponsors to answer you, and in the time you will, write 10 other ones to get another sponsor for your team, or do a better version of the car, and again and again and again, and you have the passion about it, and you, as I said, you want to invest every second in it, then I guess there's a great way in every country around the world that is competing to get to the world finals. And that is something every student wants to achieve. I guess this year we will have 900 students from around the world, I guess from 33 countries worldwide, with over 80 teams. But when you look through it, and we are talking about over 2 million students worldwide that competing in this competition, and you are one of these 900 students that reach the world finals, that is one of the biggest dreams of every team in this competition. They want to reach the world finals, to be there, and when you have reached it, you already won. I know it's a little bit boring and sounds like a teacher, but it is like this. I mean, look at the numbers. You are one of 900 students in this year that are able to do it and to come to Singapore and witness this crazy atmosphere with all the teams. And it's just a once in a lifetime experience, like it's said from the headquarters. And it's like that. And every time you come back as an ICC or judge or whatever, it's every time a little bit different, because you have other teams and so on. So enjoy the time wherever you are in STEM racing. If you are the regionals, nationals, or world finals, just enjoy the time, connect with other teams, and that will bring you or the team the most impact for all of it.
That's a beautifully well rounded answer right at the end. I was going to ask for just a little less formal of what advice do you have for the upcoming world finals for people, not from a technical winning it, just from enjoying the world finals. But you kind of mentioned it at the end about just enjoy every moment and enjoy the fact that, in this year you're in Singapore, for example, and following years you're somewhere else probably, but just try your best to enjoy it. You've made it. You're one of 900 this year. Last year was even less people who haven't made it to world finals. You're in a small crowd, so enjoy the most of it.
Yeah, and don't try to beat the German teams, because we are good.
Well, I'm not sure.
That needed to say at the end, because I know our teams quite well, and they will bring on something very serious. But I'm sure that I'm also following with the STEM Racing Germany account, like Lunar Racing, Unity, and so on. And I'm very sure that this year it will be a very hard competition, but that is what we want to see. We want to see the battle between all the teams and all the top class teams that come up from around the world.
Well, Polish teams listening, you're allowed to beat the German teams. I give you permission. You could try at least. Yeah, I was gonna ask what German teams are attending this year, and who should we keep an eye out on?
Yeah, so we are attending with our national champion, the Blue Wolves. A very young team from the south of Germany, not quite near the region where the last world champs are from, but the same region or district from Germany. So quite good. They are very ambitious and are very skilled. Then we are bringing on our vice champion, Ascend. They are from the same school where Array are coming from.
Okay.
And the school, I guess the teacher, it's their 12th or 13th World Finals, something like that. So the school is very experienced. They have a good history about it. The school with the teams have won many special prizes, from engineering over brand identity and I don't know what else. So very good. And we are bringing also to the World Finals our third place from the National Echo Racing from the north of Germany. Very passionate team, quite interesting team identity with a bat as their animal for the logo. And all three teams are not to underestimate because they work a lot with other teams and try to use the experience other teams had. And I have seen some of the prototypes, and actually I will meet tomorrow Ascend and Echo Racing, and in the next week I will meet the Blue Wolves for final preparations, getting into the zone for World Finals, hearing the first versions of the verbal presentation, seeing the portfolios and so on. And I'm very excited. I've seen some of the prototypes and pictures of the milled chassis, and I'm very impressed of that what our German teams are bringing in for the World Finals this year.
All right, we'll have to keep a lookout. For anybody who's watched this far, if you're not physically at the World Finals, I think they usually live stream the races, right? So
they live stream everything from the beginning ceremony until the awards. Everything is streamed, so not the judging itself, it's not streamed, but the racing is always streamed, and then the both big ceremonies, and it's quite interesting to look in. And when you have friends at the World Finals, that is my tip for everyone who's watching, maybe from around the world. Check with them when they are racing, because it can be quite long to watch all the race all day long. But when you know who is when competing against whom, just put on YouTube and then look after your nation who races when, and then you can just watch from home.
Yeah, well, when we find out when Jetplex, the Polish team this year, are racing, we'll try put it on the social medias and whatnot. All right. Thanks, Alex, for coming on again. It's great having you. Good luck in last minute preparations for World Finals coming up.
Thank you. We will see each other in Singapore. We chatted before.
We will.
You will be there, so I will show you my German teams, and hopefully you show me your Polish team, so that we can check it out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on, and thank you everybody who watched.